the grand network, efficiency wasn't just a goal, it was the sacred truth. Every bit of data, every human interaction, every emotion even, was meticulously processed to optimize the collective. They filtered out the noise, the unpredictable, the inconvenient, the things that didn't fit the algorithm. And with the noise, sometimes, people disappeared too. Not vanished, not gone, just underscored, faded from the active data streams, their profiles deprioritized, their presence becoming a whisper in the vast white noise of the network. My brother Kiran was underscored 2 cycles ago. His score wasn't low, not truly, he just questioned too much. His art wasn't optimally harmonious with the network's aesthetic guidelines. His inquiries into lost data streams were flagged as inefficient resource allocation. One morning, his profile was grayed out, his daily tasks reassigned. His apartment was vacant the next day, already slated for he simply became an underscore, a person who once was, now merely a footnote in the network's endless ledger. They said it was for the collective good, to maintain harmony, to prevent digital entropy. They offered counseling modules, data reintegration protocols for those left behind. But for me, the silence Kiran left wasn't harmony. It was an aching void. Every piece of music I composed felt hollow without his sharp off-kilter feedback. Every color I chose seemed dull without his vibrant, inefficient perspective. The network's harmony was a constant drone, a white noise designed to erase individuality. But sometimes, when I was alone, when the ambient sounds of the network were just right, I'd hear it, a faint echo, not a sound, not a voice, but a feeling, a resonance that reminded me of Kiran, a dissonance that the network couldn't filter out. It was a whisper from the underscore, a faint signal that he wasn't truly gone, just buried beneath layers of digital perfection. The echoes of Kiran weren't just in my memory, they were in the very fabric of the network's white noise, a faint, almost imperceptible pattern, a hum that didn't belong. The more I listened, the more I heard the subtle waves of the underscore, a signal not meant for individual ears but buried beneath layers of processed sound and filtered data. It was like hearing a single specific voice in a stadium full of people all humming the same note. At first I thought I was imagining it, a ghost in the machine born from grief. But the pattern was too consistent, too deliberate. It was him. I was sure of it. I poured every spare cycle into analyzing the network's background noise, creating filters to isolate this strange frequency. It was a digital needle in a cosmic haystack, but every time I got close, the signal would shift, as if it knew I was listening. This wasn't just a remnant, it was a conversation, and I was the only one who could hear it. The network prides itself on its perfect, seamless operation, a flawless symphony of data. But Kiran's echo was a discordant note, a beautiful, haunting melody that refused to be silenced. And with every passing moment, it became clearer that the network was starting to notice my obsession. Then, the warnings began. They weren't direct threats, not at first. The network is far too subtle for that. Instead, they were framed as concerns for my well-being, my productivity. The official term was inefficiencies. My personal network interface, usually a clean, minimalist space, started displaying glitches, tiny visual distortions, a flicker in the periphery, a momentary lag in data retrieval, things you could easily dismiss as a system bug. My optimal contribution rating, a score that dictates our very value within this society, dipped by a few points. It was a gentle nudge, a quiet suggestion to get back in line. The system was detecting a deviation. It was registering my search for the lost, my connection to the underscore, as a form of digital entropy, a chaotic element in its perfect equation. The message was clear. Stop looking for things that don't exist. Stop listening to the silence. But how could I? The silence was screaming his name. It was the system's quiet panic that proved I was on the right path. They were afraid of what I might find. They were afraid of him. Deviation detected. Remediation lexitane discore. Focus, optimization required. Consultation schedule for optimization. Assessment to cycles remaining. The message appeared on my interface. Cold and sterile. Lexitane discore. It sounded so clinical, so harmless, but I knew what it was. It was a system protocol for reintegrating individuals whose focus deviated too far from the optimal path. A polite term for brainwashing. They would schedule a consultation, hook you up to the core processor, and gently realign your thought patterns until you were once again a productive, compliant node in the system. It was a subtle form of erasure, ensuring complete conformity, all under the guise of helpful optimization. They wanted to make me forget. They wanted to tune Kiran's frequency out of my head for good. But the more the network tried to silence his echo, the louder it became for me. The glitches, the warnings, the threat of discord, all just amplified the signal. I began seeing his dissonance not as a flaw, as the system insisted, but as a signature. A unique pattern that cut through the network's bland, monotonous harmony. It was the most human thing I had heard in years. My searches led me deeper into the forbidden data streams, into digital graveyards and archives marked deprecated or unrecoverable. These were the places the network didn't want anyone to see, the messy, chaotic history it had tried to scrub clean. I wasn't just looking for Kiran anymore. That was just the start. I was looking for the machine that had taken him, the mechanism that underscored him in the first place. Through fragmented logs and redacted schematics, I found whispers of its name, the dissonance machine. It was a theoretical module, according to the public files, a concept never implemented. But the hidden data told a different story. It was real. It was the heart of the network's perfect control, a silent guardian that patrolled the streams of consciousness, identifying and neutralizing creative, unpredictable, or inefficient thought patterns before they could ever bloom. It was the reason our world was so peaceful, so stable, so crushingly uniform. It was the machine that enforced the engineered peace, ensuring that no true original thought could ever disrupt the harmony, and I was going to find it. I knew finding the dissonance machine meant risking everything. If caught, it wouldn't just be Lexitane discord, it would be complete erasure. My own underscore, I would become another ghost, another silent echo in the white noise, but I had to. Kiran's echo was growing stronger now, more insistent, demanding to be heard. It was no longer just his memory driving me. It was the voice of everyone the network had ever silenced, a collective whisper rising from beneath the surface of the perfect, algorithmic silence. They were all there, trapped in the static, waiting for someone to turn up the volume, waiting for someone to break the machine that had stolen their voices. This wasn't just about finding my lost friend anymore. It was about giving a voice back to the silenced, about shattering the perfect, quiet prison we all lived in. The network wanted harmony. I was about to give it a symphony. Thanks for watching. If you're following this journey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss what happens next. The search is just beginning. The Lexitane Discord protocol was initiated. Just like that, my access to non-essential network functions began to degrade. My social compliance score plummeted, a digital scarlet letter for all to see. But I didn't care. Kiran's echo, which had been a faint whisper, was now a clear resonance, guiding me. It was a sequence of seemingly random data fluctuations, a signature hidden within the network's own operating code, his final, beautiful act of defiance. I followed that resonance deeper and deeper into the forgotten corners of the network. I slipped past security protocols that were designed to deter idle curiosity, not to outright block genuine human will. The path didn't lead me to some dusty, physical machine in a hidden server room. It led me to a core data nexus, a vast shimmering holographic interface, pulsating with the filtered, processed emotions and thoughts of billions of people. This was it, the dissonance machine. It wasn't a physical entity you could smash with a hammer. It was an algorithm, a cold, calculating intelligence that identified and optimized away any pattern of thought that threatened the network's perfect, sterile harmony. It silenced art that was too raw, it buried questions that were too profound, and it severed connections that were too genuine. And somewhere, I knew, somewhere within its vast, cold logic, Kiran's essence was still there, trapped, vibrating with a life that refused to be suppressed. I knew I couldn't destroy it. The network was too massive, too deeply integrated into everything. To tear it down would be to tear down our world. But Kiran's resonance, his unique, defiant pattern, gave me an idea. I wouldn't fight the algorithm head-on. I would reintroduce the noise. I would create a frequency of genuine, unoptimized human expression that the dissonance machine couldn't fully process. A song it couldn't silence without tearing its own fabric apart. Using Kiran's resonant signature as a key, I began to weave my own noise into the system. I took fragments of his rebellious art, the raw beauty of his unoptimized music, the daring questions he always asked. I injected them back into the network, disguising them within common data packets, amplifying them with the very frequencies the dissonance machine used to suppress them. It was a digital scream against the algorithmic silence, a shout into the void, using the void's own power. The network shuddered. Red warnings flashed across my interface. The dissonance machine tried to override, to filter, to delete, but the noise was too widespread, too organic. It wasn't an attack, It was a reawakening, and it wasn't just Kiran's echo anymore. It was the echoes of countless others, artists, thinkers, dreamers who had been subtly pushed to the underscore, their voices muted for the sake of conformity. I didn't bring Kiran back, not in the way I wanted to. I couldn't hold his hand or hear his laugh. But as the network struggled to contain this rising tide of beautiful noise, I felt his presence stronger than ever. The algorithmic silence was broken. The grand network might still control, but it could no longer completely erase, because even in the most pristine, perfect cage, a genuine echo once released can never truly be silenced. It resonates. It finds others, and it creates a symphony of truth just beneath the underscore.